Semen retention does not work unless you have the following three things in your life. Now, this is something I was confused about for a long time because when I got started on this journey, I was unaware of the reality that semen is life force energy, i.e., it is the seed that creates new life, which means that semen is creative energy. And what we are lacking, so many of us, okay, when we start on this journey, we're like going hard, we're trying to resist, we're doing the best that we can, but somehow, some way, we are distracted from the path of becoming and expressing the highest version of ourselves because there is something that causes us to go down a path that does not necessarily serve our highest expression, right? It is more a compulsive behavior that causes us to slip down the slippery slope towards doing things that don't necessarily serve the highest expression of our soul. So what it really comes down to first and foremost is definiteness of purpose. Okay, if you were to read any of Napoleon Hill's books, this is a principle to which he comes back to again and again and again. Because I've noticed that in terms of the guys that I work with as well, going through the monk mode challenge as well and getting on Zoom calls with them and really discussing what is the number one barrier that so many of us go through, it is a lack of definiteness of purpose, right? We think we're lacking motivation. We think we're lacking the willpower. We think we're lazy, but really we are lacking that clarity in our lives, okay? A very important question and a powerful question comes from the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, okay? And the question is that what is the one thing such that by doing it will make everything else easier or unnecessary? There's always that one lead domino. For most of us, it has to do with our health, right? Either that's a lead domino that's going to maximize every other area, or it is going to be our finances, to the point where if we have a system that is generating income without our time, which I think is an aspiration for anyone that wants to create wealth in their life, right? The difference between rich and being wealthy is when you have assets that work for you without requiring your time. It's so essential to understand this. It's like the number one rule of Rich in Rich Dad Poor Dad as well. He says that the rich do not work for money. Money works for the rich people, and it comes down to investing in assets that work for you while you sleep, right? So having that definiteness of purpose, what is that one area that by improving it will cause the maximum positive benefits in all the other areas of your life as well? Is it your health? Is it your wealth? Is it your relationships, right? For most of us, it really comes down to those three pillars. And once we can get an awareness on what that area is when we get to the second step. Okay, if you don't have this thing in your life, semen retention is useless as well. And the second thing is a plan of action. Okay, so important to know what that next step is, okay? This is a trap that a lot of us can fall into sometimes, is when we think about what we want, but then we think about how we're actually going to achieve it, and then that causes us to develop, oh, I could never do that. Like, who could ever achieve that big goal, right? So what I invite you to consider is the big picture in terms of what your ideal life looks like. What will you do, right? You start with the definition of purpose. What is that clarity that I need? And then it's like, what's that next step I can take, right? Okay, maybe you don't have an idea about how to start $1 million business. Maybe you do not have an idea about where to start with your health. But what is that first step, right? We are blessed to be living during the age of information. You can take that first step and move in the direction of seeking that awareness, right? And in Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill is talking to the devil. I definitely recommend you check out the audio of that. It's something I listen to again and again and again. There's different layers to it, okay? But one of the things that the devil tells Napoleon Hill is that a poor plan that is executed well has a tendency to become a good plan if it is executed with definiteness of purpose. So it's better to have a weak plan that is executed than a strong plan that is not executed, right? So take that first step in the direction, right? So that you can acquire that knowledge, acquire that awareness, and begin getting to work, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like we get that information and then we go implement, and that is how we truly get the nuanced information, right? Like you can read all the books that you want on how to swim, but unless you actually get into the pool, you will never truly know, right? And so it comes down to having a plan and putting it into practice, right? Going to the marketplace, measuring your body measurements, whatever it is, keeping track of what you will be improving through your plan as well, right? And the third principle is so important, right? This third thing, if you don't have it, semen retention will be useless, and that is a mastermind alliance. Okay, now this has been called by many different names. For example, there was a disciple of the Buddha who asked him, what is the most important thing, right? The Buddha asked his disciple, what is the most important thing on this path towards becoming all that we can be? And he's like, is it the teaching? He's like, no, it's not the teaching, right? Is it my guru? Or he's like, it's not the guru, it is the Sangha, right? That's what they call the community. That is what they called an affiliation with like-minded individuals that will provide you with the support, that will provide you with the community, that will provide you with the education, experience, perspective, insight, right? When we're going at it together, right? Winter is not coming, winter is here. And when the snows fall and the wind blows, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives, right? Anything that was ever accomplished that was considered great in human civilization was accomplished in a group, right? That's why it's so essential to connect with others on the same path. And if you are in the process where you are growing, right, and you have these people in your life that are not necessarily on that path, then you will be growing apart, and it will be like a thermostat whereby, okay, it gets complicated, but understand that if you do not have that right now, then it is very difficult for you to actually make productive use of semen retention. This is such a powerful practice, right? And that's really what it comes down to, implementing the plan, right? If you don't have the purpose, the definiteness of purpose, what's that one thing? What's the plan I'm going to implement? What is the community that I'm seeking support in? And then it's about putting that plan into action and learning from adversity, right? The devil tells Napoleon Hill that with every adversity, there comes the seed of an equivalent advantage, if only we can get the awareness on what the situation is in the process of teaching us. And then we can learn to see the advantage in everything and learn to improve from everything. Then it's a matter of taking that data, implementing it back into the plan, and optimizing our plan and refining our plan moving forward as well. Okay, so if you don't have those three things, semen retention is useless, because then that is the energy that allows us to create. That is the energy that allows us to bring our mind's highest ideals into fruition, into this physical world, right? But it starts with having the definiteness of purpose, the definiteness of plan, right? It doesn't matter how weak the plan is, just move in that direction, you'll get the awareness. And then the mastermind, right? Having an alliance, right? If you try to do it on your own, like, good luck. I tried that for a long time, it didn't work out, but it's a principle that pretty much has been talking about since antiquity, right? Like mentor and mentee relationships, always there, as well the mastermind, very important. And then just a matter of taking action, because now you have a direction, and because you are in the practice of retaining your life force energy is when you have the purpose, the direction, the conviction to go and put your plans into action as well. Okay, so that is what it comes down to. And also the Monk Mode Challenge will be starting this month in December. Okay, this is an opportunity for you to get into and implement the three principles that I talked about in this video. So you can open up a new tab in your browser, go to monkmodechallenge.com, learn more about that. And that is coming together and going through this 30-day roadmap in a community to get that clarity, get that plan, and follow through with it consistently over the next 30 days, and creating that momentum for the rest of 2021. Okay, so I'll leave a link in the description as well. Either way, whether you go to the Monk Mode Challenge or whether you don't, right, understand these three principles are something that are necessary for us to move forward in the direction of our desired destiny with consistency and reliability, right? We can all put a plan into action for a day, 2 days, a week, 2 week, a month. But if we can really stick with that over the long term, that is what makes all the difference. Okay, so with all that being said, leave a comment below letting me know about your number one takeaway from this video. What are you going to put into action? Okay, click the like button if you like this video. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe if you have not already. But I will be leaving you in the peace and power of the one infinite creator, and I will catch you in the next one. Much love to you. Take care.